Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Spears Spartan Football Preview Show. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be one of our best episodes. And look, ladies and gentlemen, it's still Derrick and I. You're still stuck with us. Ryan Carlson is yet to make an appearance on this show. I know he has been referenced a while. I think, Derrick, we got to get him on soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been brought to our attention about 2 minutes ago before we started recording this here on this Tuesday night, the 19th, that our third member of today's show, that is Ricardo Garcia, is an avid listener and viewer of our Spartan Football Preview Show. So look, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of times when we have somebody coming for the Spear, no offense to all those joining, we got to explain the process. Ricardo's coming in, giving us pointers, tips, things that he's wanting to do on this podcast, what he wants to say. Look, Derrick, it was a tough game last week for San Jose State against San Diego State. Double overtime loss. They took the loss, in heartbreaking fashion, losing 19-13 in double overtime. Derrick, how are you this week? What thoughts about last week's game? What's going on?
We're doing great. By the way, shout out to the legend James Jones. He got inducted into the Spartan Ring of Honor. I believe that's what it's called, Spartan Ring of Honor, during the game last weekend. So great to see him join the likes of Jeff Garcia, Steve DeBerg, Dick Vermeil, Pop Warner. Obviously, James Jones, local legend, Gunderson High alum, played in the NFL with the Packers, Raiders. So great to see him get honored and recognized. I know he does a lot of charity work in the Bay Area still and on NFL Network as well. And yeah, I watched the game from the comfort of the KSJS studio. Shout out to Louis Geist and our own Johnny Schaefer had a great call. It was a 4.5 hour game, I believe. It was a defensive battle. So if you like defense, like the Wyatt Tittle days of the Ice Bowl, unbelievable defense between both teams. And it just came down to, San Diego State making a switch from Jordan Berkshire to Lucas Johnson through those 2 TD passes to Jesse Matthews, who just came out of the backfield basically on a wheel route. They picked on Bobby Brown a lot, the other starting cornerback, and that's what it came down to really. And then, it was just it was a close game. It was a heartache tonight, like the Eagles said. And, obviously the San Jose State defense balled out. They're the most consistent unit out of all three units. I thought Coach Brennan got out coached in the last 4 minutes of the game. Thought he was a little too conservative. I mean, they could have ran some more plays. They tried to kill the clock for Mercurio, and obviously Matt's usual range is from 40 to 50 yards. That was 52 yarder that he missed. And Nick Nash, kind of went one too many deep balls and just need to, do the dink and dimes a little bit, let the receivers get some yak yards. Derek Deese, man, the dude's been balling out. He had I think 6 catches for 113 yards or whatever. So shout out to him. But yeah, the Spartans are not on the verge of this, but they are on the verge of free falling, not off the stratosphere tower. I mean, seeing their conference title hopes go out the window. But hey, they have a chance to make a bowl game. They still have a lot of football left. They're going into Allegiant Stadium, the Roomba Stadium, not looking for emails, wink, wink, but trying to look for a bounce back win. And against a UNLV team who's desperate for a win. They're 0-6, 0-7, trying to give Marcus Arroyo his first win as a college football head coach. By the way, it's great to have Ricardo on. We don't have our poker chips right here. We're not in Vegas. I wish we were. Probably would be at the Bellagio, Mandalay Bay, watching the water fountains and seeing TLC chasing waterfalls. So it's great to be on here, and we'll see. But this is a pivotal game for the Spartans if they really want to be playing in December at a bowl game.
Derrick is coming out firing today. Look, and he mentioned it, Ricardo Garcia here with us today. Look, Ricardo, you were an avid listener, avid viewer of this show. And look, we're glad to have you on. Maybe he'll become a staple of this podcast when we leave, Derrick. We might have to leave it in his hands if he does well enough today. So, Derrick, look, I think this is a test day for Ricardo. Ricardo, how's it going? Welcome to the show. What'd you see last week? And look, let's not reference any more emails here, guys, huh?
First off, man, thanks for having me, guys. I'm, as someone who kind of keeps up with the show, it's, pretty interesting to be, part of it. So, thanks for having me on. And kind of, talking about what Derrick said, I was really impressed with the defense, and how they showed out. This San Diego State team, they have a very high scoring offense. Their last games, they scored more than 20 points in each of those games. And in this game, they were held to only 19 points. So I think, the defense, they balled out. They did a great job kind of forcing punts and making big plays. I also think that the run game was, showed some signs of promise. I think there were some certain points in the game where I thought the run game was working a lot better than the air attack. So that's just another thing that I noticed. I think overall it was a very smash mouth game. The defense on both sides was key, but definitely some improvements on that need to be made on the Spartan side, specifically penalties. The major killer for the Spartans, 12 penalties for 101 yards. It was just undisciplined, in the wise words of our good buddy Gio, from the Spear. He was saying it was just undisciplined football, and that can't happen. Penalties, especially this many penalties, it kills momentum. You're trying to build momentum, you're trying to get drives, to eventually score. So having these penalties is a major vibe killer. It's not going to help you progress the ball any further. So they need to play smarter. They need to be disciplined and just avoid those easy penalties at all costs. And then just another thing, the offense, I felt like, in terms of the passing, it just couldn't find its stride throughout the night. And I think, obviously you have that defense on the San Diego side that's, very good. But, I wanted to see a little bit more in the of the pass game. But unfortunately, they just couldn't get it going. So hopefully, as they go into this game against UNLV, they can find a way to get the pass game more involved and find a good mix between run and the pass.
Definitely. I mean, you mentioned it there, that defense at San Diego State's defense. We mentioned it last week, Derek. I believe they were only giving up I think it was either 50 or 58 yards a game on the ground. And as a team, the Spartans had 117. Tyler Nevins, he got a workload. He is your bell cow, as our friend Lamar would say. 28 carries, 74 yards, and touchdown. Obviously, Derek, you mentioned Derek Deese. Dude's an NFL tight end. I mean, he's an NFL tight end. He will be successful in the NFL. Obviously, he's got his father was I believe in the NFL. And this team is good. And look, Ricardo, you talked about the Spartans defense holding the Aztecs to under 20 points. Look, they held them to 6 points in regulation, right? There was the 2 touchdowns in overtime from San Diego State. They still kept them under 20. So I think that says something. I think the defense really did a good job. Derek mentioned the quarterback change from San Diego State side. Look, we don't know any more updates on Nick Starkel. I think that will help the pass game be unlocked. I think getting the wide receivers involved a lot more needs to happen. I think a lot of teams are now focusing on Derek Deese. Look, I mean, when he goes out, he's taking 2 defenders with him. There's not much you can do about that. He's been their best offensive weapon this whole year. Him and Tyler Nevins have been killing it when they've been in the lineup. Obviously, they had that issue against Hawaii. But look, let's call our attention to this week. Derek, you mentioned this Rebels team, this UNLV team is hungry. Look, they're 0-6. A lot of people look at them as one of the worst teams in the conference. But look, last week they played a good Utah State team, only lost by 4. They are hungry. They've been in every game except for the first 2 that I have here on my list, the last 5. They lost 37-10 to ASU and lost 48-3 to 14th ranked Iowa State. Look, but other than that, it's been just about a 1-score game. In fact, it has been either 1-score game or less to every other opponent their last 3. I think this team, has a very similar offense. Both teams averaging about 19.5 points a game. The difference here for the Spartans is their defense has been much better than this Rebels team. According here to ESPN, the Spartans only allowing about 23.1 points per game, and UNLV a whopping 35. Derek, what are you looking for going into this game? Is this considered a trap game for San Jose State? I think if they don't win this game, they don't get a bowl game.
Well, Vegas is the trap city. I mean, that city's not built on winners. Get it? We probably got some people laughing. Probably about to head a casino matrix in San Jose right now. Placing their bets. Max is placing his bets on BetMGM. Sorry, it's not legal here in California. But I think for San Jose State, I got a couple keys here. We can get the keys out of the way. Number one, you got to bully the Rebels. What I mean by that is, the running game. This is a chance for it to just explode out of that Roomba Stadium at Allegiant Stadium. Tyler Nevins, I think he's fourth all time in rushing yards. He just passed that mark last Friday night. So, you have a chance to really do something special. That offensive line, I thought they played really solid. Nick Nash was able to extend plays. Granted, a couple of throws. I know he threw could have been a touchdown to Charles Ross. And I believe it was the first or second quarter, and that got negated by a penalty. But Tyler Nevers, this guy could have a chance to really show out, get Kyrie Robinson involved, get Shamar Garrett involved. I have a chance this could be a field day for the Spartans. Of course, Derek Deese, dude's going to be a drafted in the NFL. That's no secret. I think he's been balling out. He's been focused every week. He's been one of the bright spots so far this season, this underachieving season for SJSU. Will UNLV try to double team him? I don't know. But that's even more opportunities for Isaiah Hamilton to get involved. More opportunities for Charles Ross to get involved, Jermaine Braddock, Malachi Miller, get some of these receivers involved, built their confidence up as a unit, because we haven't really talked about receivers at all, rarely, maybe except for the Southern Utah game. That was way back in August when the boys were out. A hint to Don Henley right there. And then obviously UNLV, force them to play defense, force them into long drives. Make sure they can, they're going to be tired. I mean, I know it's considered a dome stadium. I know there's going to be a lot of San Jose State fans, a lot of Bay Area residents moved out to Vegas, and, there's going to be a lot of San Jose State fans there. So, get the crowd involved and, try to make sure that UNLV is on the back heels on defense. And then obviously number 3 is to stop Charles Williams. He's one of the best, most consistent, best running backs in the Mountain West. But they've had like 4 to 5 different QBs. So I know Marcus Arroyo, the head coach, and Glenn Thomas are trying to figure out which guy to go to. But yeah, try to get to Charles Williams. I think that will be a key spot. And I think for Nick Nash, he played decent at best. I thought he was more of in a game manager role in terms of just handing the ball off to Nevins. I would like to see him use more of his legs, use a lot more RPOs, not try to, go for it all. If he sees, Hamilton open, great. But, remember, you just gotta, I feel like if they can run the ball effectively, they will hit the jackpot literally in Viva Las Vegas.
Randy Hahn with all these references to Vegas. I mean, Randy Hahn loves calling he's the Sharks nut, so he loves saying the Desert Dogs for Arizona, and Hurdle hits the jackpot in overtime. All these Vegas references he's singing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you listened last week, he was going to see the Eagles. I believe later this week, I believe he sings
Friday Night Baby in the city.
I don't know why I said that, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize, but let's move to Ricardo here, and then Derrick can warm up the singing voice for the end of the show here, because he's going to be singing all the way home when I tell him who won the predictions. But look, Ricardo, let me get your keys to the game before I move to the predictions here. What are you looking out for the Spartans? What is their keys to victory here against the Rebels?
Yeah, so number 1, Max, I kind of echoing what Derrick said. I think it's going to be important to get a good mix in the air attack and also running the ball. I think if they're able to, like I said, find a good mixture in both, they're going to be successful. Like Derrick said, getting guys like Derek Deese Jr. and Jermaine Braddock more involved. These guys are huge playmakers, right? And we saw it in the game. Derek Deese, I don't know how many times he bailed out the Spartans on 3rd and long. I couldn't count them anymore. So, these guys are guys that can, make plays and so you need to get them involved. So secondly, penalties. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but, penalties were a problem. And, going into this game, they need to limit the amount of penalties that they are, drawing, because like I said, it kills momentum, and that's just something that they can't afford to have, So I think, like I said, playing more discipline and just being smarter is going to be very crucial against this UNLV team. And then finally, it's more, this is kind of, I guess it's obvious, when you're, going into a game, but you don't want to underestimate UNLV, right? This is a winless team, but, they're hungry, they want to win. We saw it last week, they came close to getting their first win of the season. So, this team wants to win. They're looking for it. So, the Spartans need to come in and treat this like any other game, and treat this sort of just it's an important game, right? There's bowl implications, bowl game implications. So you don't want to underestimate this team, and I think that's going to be very important. If they can come out strong, come out quick and aggressive, they're going to have success. So.
Look, Ricardo really is fitting in nicely on here. Derrick, I think he's passing the test so far. He's doing a great job. But look, now comes the question here. Derrick, I let you know beforehand and get the singing songs ready. But I'm back on the leaderboard. I'm back on the winner. That's my 4th overall win last week in the predictions. Look, and I'm not happy because San Diego State won. But look, the predictions last week, I apologize to our athletic director, Jeff Konya. He was very bullish. He was very happy. He was very excited for this Spartan team. He said they would win 23-21. Our good friend Niku of the show, she said 27-23 San Diego State or San Jose State. Derrick, you and I, we are the staples of the podcast. It's only right that we get it right. I mean, we watch every game, whether it's at home in the broadcast booth that you had at KSJS. Look, Derrick, you said 36-17. If anybody remembers, I also said 17 points for the Spartans, but I said 28-17. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have got my 4th overall win, my 2nd this year, 4th overall. Look, Derrick, we got to go to you. You gave us your keys. Now, look, before you give me your prediction, Derrick, look, ESPN's, Football Power Index only gives San Jose State a 51.1% chance to win. That gives UNLV so it's pretty much a toss-up. Now, according to the spread, it's a minus 5-point favorite for the Spartans with the plus, with the Spartans looking to try and get this victory. 5-point favorites here, minus 210 favorites. Derrick, those are your numbers. By the way, the over/under 46.5 if you're still making your projections at home. Derrick, can you get back on the leaderboard? You've gone ice cold again after the back-to-back wins.
Well, you're experiencing a whole lot of love. Want a whole lot of love. By the way, shout out to Jason Bonham. Went to his show at San Jose Civic on Sunday, this past Sunday. Great show. Check him out if he's in your neighborhood. But listen, I think this is going to be a closer game than most people think. I think a lot of the Spartan Nation that watch the show on the Twitter machine, on the Facebook, on the Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, MySpace, we can throw MySpace in there, whatever. They're going to say, oh, this should be an easy game, 0-6 and all that. And by the way, because I'm going to go into a singing tangent, make sure to catch the game on Thursday night, not Friday, not Saturday, Thursday night. It's going to be a busy day in the Bay Area. The Warriors home opener against the LA Clippers, but you can watch a little bit of football on the east side. That's why they invented multi-taps. Hello. So 8 p.m. CBS Sports Network. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, I think this is going to be a closer game. I think for the Rebels, I think they need to maximize their opportunities in the red zone because I don't think they're going to get a lot of opportunities to cash in. I think their third down defense, try to get the Spartans to do a 3 and out. And obviously Charles Williams, that offense is built around Charles Williams. But I think this is going to be a really close game. I can see, a little bit of a shootout here and there, but I got the Spartans up 27-20. I think they'll get a bounce back win. They're going to leave Allegiant Stadium, leave Al Davis Way, either turn right on Polaris Avenue, go on Frank D. Martin Drive, Frank Sinatra Drive, or West Russell Road, or Hacienda Avenue, go to McCarran Airport, move into life in the fast lane every day, all the time. And then I know they like seeing, Lean on Me by the late, great Bill Withers, which is a great song. But I think when they're on the airplane on the way back, whether they fly out, they're flying out probably Friday morning. They'll sing Viva, Viva Las Vegas and get ready for Wyoming next weekend. So, but yeah, 27-20 final score, Spartans win. And everything's right in Spartan Nation. Everything's going to be okay because you still, the conference title hopes may probably have gone out the window. But I think you still have a lot to play for. You still have a bowl game to play for. They haven't had 2 straight seasons of being bowl eligible since I think the 80s. So I think it'll be great to see the Spartans in a bowl game because, hey, like Jeff Coney, our athletic director, mentioned last week, that's how you built your brand, is just by being successful year in and year out. And that's what the Spartans need to do. And who knows, they might return to Viva Las Vegas for a bowl game. And shout out to my favorite Rebel alumni, my cousins, Martha and Roger. I know they'll be watching this. And my high school music teacher, Mr. Johnson, went to UNLV. But sorry, I think it's going to be Spartan up in 27-20. And Ricardo, I think you can go now. I think I talked for 5 minutes. So,
look, Ricardo, we got to get our ears checked after this. This is a big one. Derrick, look, I got to give you shout out props here. You haven't stopped singing since last week's show. You helped our boy Johnny Schaefer, who's been on the show for Call My Hockey Game over the weekend. And ladies and gentlemen, he was singing on there. But let's sing it on over to Ricardo Garcia.
Hold on. Shout out to Club Hockey. They had a great turnout last week. Fortunately, did not go their way. Ryan Carlson, we'll keep that on the low. Ryan Carlson on the call this weekend against Santa Rosa Junior College. I don't know what their mascot is. I'll look it up and probably share it in the retweets or whatever. But yeah, shout out. It was a great atmosphere. Max, keep doing your thing. They will get their first win. That's my other prediction. They will get their first win this weekend. You can catch it Friday, Saturday on the lovely streaming channel of Black Dog Hockey, not Black Dog like the Led Zeppelin song Black Dog Hockey.
Don't start singing that, please. Ricardo, let's get your prediction. You said before the show you were nervous. This makes the whole show. Now here comes the decision time. What you got?
Listen, I was nervous at first, but after that, all that singing from Derrick and his energy, just it's got me. The nerves are gone. Let's just say that they are out of here. And when he said his prediction, I don't know if you caught it, but I kind of made a face because we're kind of thinking on the same kind of scale of like the outcome of this game. I think it's going to be a close battle. I really think that both teams are going to come out wanting to get the W. Obviously, you have UNLV who hasn't won a game, and SJSU is coming off that tough loss. So both teams are going to be playing hard, looking to get that win. So I think that the Spartans will come out on top 27-23. I think UNLV will sneak in one extra field goal and make it 27-23 with the Spartans coming out on top. That is my prediction, and I am looking to get my first win. Book it. That's it.
He says book it, ladies and gentlemen. Do I dare say Spartans win 27-24 or 27-21 just to mess with y'all? Look, if I said 27-21 and for some reason it was 27-22, who wins that? I don't know who wins that. Look, we've had a tie in the past, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to go off the board. UNLV is not going to win. Yeah, you thought I was going to say they're going to win. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I think the Spartans get back on track. That seems to be the theme of the show. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I really hope to see Starkle this week. I think if Starkle's back, this game could be a blowout. I think you could really see a lot of those big plays be executed a little bit better. I think we could see an even bigger game from Derrick Deese if Starkle plays. Look, I don't know. We've seen him in the sling still for the third straight week on the sideline, so maybe it was a broken collarbone. That's just pure speculation on my end. Again, Jeff Konya, we hope to get your prediction, and maybe we'll get you on the show one day. That's our athletic director. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and go 28-17 SJSU win. You can book that, Ricardo. Book it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Derrick, go ahead and give us the details of where you can find our show here on YouTube, and eventually we'll move these on to Spotify, but give us where our viewers and our listeners can watch our San Jose State Spartan football team.
So if you want to lose money, don't take Max's advice at Mandalay Bay. I heard the parking rates.
Don't you remember I won last week?
Oh, don't you remember? Hey, that's 1 week, okay? When the levee breaks, gonna all the same. My favorite Led Zeppelin song. So don't go to Mandalay Bay, right? Across the I-15 or Luxor, Bellagio. Listen to me, okay? I love Vegas. We got a lot of family down there. I know they're watching. But of course, find the game. Okay, 8 p.m. I know that's 5 p.m. in Vegas. It's like 5 p.m. in Vegas basically, but it's 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, CBS Sports Network, live and free for you to see. Should be a fun game. UNLV doesn't really draw big crowds for football, but I expect a lot of San Jose State families to go out there, have a nice little weekend out there in Viva Las Vegas. And they'll be walking in Vegas, walking of the blue suede shoes. My guy, shout out to my guy Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion in the world. So 8 p.m. Don't forget it, 8 p.m. on CBS Sports Network.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a long podcast, whether it's long-winded answers, Derrick singing to make our ears bleed, but it's been a fun one. This has been a fun one. Look, ladies and gentlemen, check out all of our stuff on our Instagram, The Spear SJSU, on Twitter at The Spear SJSU, thespearsjsu.com, our website. Check us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Check out Ricardo. He's got a lot of articles. Ladies and gentlemen, I did mention that we've got a magazine coming. The hope is to have it out this Friday, so you can catch the Spartans football game this Thursday night and wake up the next morning and you can then read our Spear articles. There are some good football. There's some good football articles coming in the works. I know we've got maybe Johnny Schaefer possibly doing an opinion on this team. You guys know, but this magazine, ladies and gentlemen, is a fun one. I think it's different. I think it's awesome. Obviously, Kylie's doing a great job with our style and our edits to photos. She designs this whole thing. It makes it look great. But look, ladies and gentlemen, check us out on all of our social medias. For Ricardo Garcia, first timer here, and I definitely know this won't be the last time on here, but for Ricardo Garcia, Derrick Allen, myself, Maximo, this has been the Spears Spartan Football Preview Show. This week, the Spartans take on UNLV in Las Vegas.